Do you believe in coincidences? I used to, until I caught my husband of 10 years at our anniversary resort with her. When I confronted him with irrefutable evidence, he had the audacity to look me straight in the eye and say, "It's a coincidence, honey." Coincidence. That word echoed in my mind like a cruel joke, bouncing off the walls of my shattered reality. Because I had the receipts, literally, every single one of them. And what those receipts revealed was much more than a simple betrayal. It was an elaborate, meticulously calculated scheme that had been going on for months. A lie so well constructed and carefully maintained, it almost made me question my own sanity. My name is Sarah, and this is how I discovered my entire life was a lie. A story about how a woman can be deceived for years by the man who swore to love her, and how the truth can be more devastating than any lie. It started 3 months ago when I decided to surprise David for our 10th wedding anniversary. I wanted to do something truly meaningful, something that would remind us both of how far we've come together. So I thought, why not return to where it all began? Mountain View Resort, where we honeymooned, where we made our first promises as husband and wife, our sacred sanctuary. I called the resort on a Thursday afternoon while David was at work, wanting to book Cabin 12, where we stayed 10 years ago. Mountain View Resort, how may I help you? Hi, I'd like to make a reservation for the weekend of the 15th. It's for our wedding anniversary, Cabin 12, if possible. There was a pause. Let me check. What's your name, ma'am? Sarah Mitchell. My husband is David Mitchell. Another pause. Longer this time. Mrs. Mitchell, Cabin 12 is already reserved for that weekend under your husband's name. 2 people. My world stopped. He had booked our special cabin for our anniversary for 2 people, and I wasn't one of them. I hung up with trembling hands. Deep down, I already knew. That cold feeling when you realize something is terribly wrong. I'd felt it before in small moments over recent months, but always ignored it. The late arrivals from work with increasingly elaborate explanations, protected phone calls that he would take in another room, speaking in hushed, intimate tones, weekend work projects he could never quite explain properly when I asked for details, expensive gifts that appeared without any special occasion, designer jewelry, fancy dinners, weekend getaways, as if he was compensating for something, trying to ease his own guilty conscience. I sat in our kitchen, connecting the dots. All those signs I'd ignored because I trusted him, because I loved him, because I couldn't imagine the man who slept beside me every night could be living a double life. But I needed proof. That's when I decided to investigate. Have you ever tried being a detective of your own life? It's easier than you imagine when you've known someone for 10 years. I knew all of David's habits, passwords, schedules. The next morning, after he left for work whistling carelessly, I began my search. First, bank statements. David was meticulous with finances. I started with the last 3 months, looking for anything unusual. And I found it. Are you ready to know what I discovered? Because what I found changed everything. It revealed not just betrayal, but a systematic pattern of lies that made me question every moment of recent years. Transactions, dozens of them, all categorized as work expenses or miscellaneous spending. But I knew David too well not to notice the pattern. Expensive restaurant dinners when he claimed to be working late, lingerie purchases, not for me. Hotel reservations in cities where he supposedly had business meetings. Most painful, multiple Mountain View Resort reservations over 6 months. 6 months. He'd been taking someone else to our special place for 6 months. My hands trembled as I photographed each statement. I needed this evidence because I knew when confronted, he'd try to make me believe I was imagining things. But numbers don't lie. Receipts don't lie. I found his laptop unlocked, another sign he felt completely safe in his lies. I opened his email history and it exploded in my face. Amanda. Amanda Torres. It wasn't just an affair. This wasn't some meaningless fling or moment of weakness. It was a complete, fully developed relationship with intimate photos, passionate love declarations, detailed future plans. They met at a marketing conference 8 months ago. She was 5 years younger than me, no children, no ex-husband baggage, none of the real-life complications that had shaped my adult years. I read every email, every word of love that should have been mine. They had inside jokes, travel plans, a future together. The worst email was from the previous week. Love, I booked our favorite cabin for our 8th-month anniversary weekend. I know it's ironic it's the same weekend as my wedding anniversary, but you said you liked irony. I'll tell Sarah I need to travel for work. She'll believe it, like always. I can't wait to wake up with you in that perfect place. Our wedding anniversary. He was planning to spend it with his mistress at our honeymoon place. But here's the devastating twist that changed everything. Amanda didn't know David was married. She had absolutely no idea. None of the emails ever mentioned a wife, a marriage, or any kind of commitment to another woman. He presented himself as single, successful, completely available, a bachelor ready for love. He had created an entirely new identity for her, complete with fabricated stories about his living situation and lifestyle. Amanda thought she was dating a free man. In her mind, if she knew of my existence, I was the other woman. That's when I formed my plan. I wasn't going to confront him immediately. I was going to show up at the resort on our anniversary weekend and let the truth speak for itself. I spent the next days acting normally. Every lie he told was like a stab, but I swallowed the pain because I knew soon everything would be revealed. Thursday before the weekend, he performed his final act. Honey, I need to travel to Portland this weekend. Last-minute client meeting. I know it's our anniversary, but I'll make it up next week. It's okay, I replied. I understand. He smiled, relieved to have such an understanding wife. So easy to deceive. Friday morning, he left with his travel bag. I waited 2 hours, then grabbed my own bag, carefully prepared with all evidence printed and organized. I also took a camera and voice recorder. The trip to Mountain View Resort felt endless. Each kilometer was anxiety, pain, and strange empowerment. For the first time in months, I had control. When I arrived, I parked with a clear view of Cabin 12. There was our car, parked where we spent our honeymoon. I walked to the reception. Hello, I'd like to speak with the manager. The receptionist recognized me immediately. Mrs. Mitchell, your husband checked in earlier. I know. That's exactly what I need to discuss.
Manager Mr. Rodriguez took me to his office with a worried expression. He remembered our previous visits. Mrs. Mitchell, what can I do for you? My husband is in cabin 12. He's not alone. The woman with him doesn't know he's married. His eyes widened. Oh my God. I need you present as a witness when I confront them. We walked to cabin 12. Each step awakened painful memories. The tree where David carved our initials, the bench where we watched sunsets, the deck where he said he wanted to grow old with me. All lies. I could hear voices and laughter from inside. I knocked firmly. Who is it? David's irritated voice. Room service. I replied, altering my voice. The door opened. David appeared in only a towel, wet hair, clearly from the shower. When he saw me, all color drained from his face. Sarah, what? Surprise, honey. Thought I'd visit my husband on his Portland work weekend. I can explain. He began, but was interrupted. David, who is it? A female voice from inside. A woman appeared wearing the resort bathrobe. Dark hair, bright smile, young and beautiful. When she saw me, confusion replaced curiosity. "I'm Sarah Mitchell," I said, extending my hand. "David's wife." Amanda stared at me, then David, then me again. I saw the exact moment reality hit. Her eyes widened, mouth opened. She stepped back as if slapped. "Wife? David, you said you were single, never married." "Amanda, I can explain." "No, you can't," I interrupted. I opened my folder. "But I have explanations. Receipts, emails, bank statements, evidence of every lie you told both of us." I showed Amanda the documents. "These are emails your single boyfriend sent. These are expenses he made on you, paid with our joint account. These are receipts from other times he brought you here." Amanda's hands trembled as she read. 8 months of lies? 10 years, I corrected. "You're not the first, Amanda, just the most recent." David found his voice. "Sarah, let's go home and discuss this privately." "A scene?" My voice rose. "You brought your mistress to our honeymoon place on our anniversary, and I'm making a scene?" "What?" Amanda turned to David furiously. "You said this was our special place." "It is our special place for 10 years. Amanda threw the papers at David. "You're disgusting. A liar." "Amanda, wait," David pleaded. "Don't touch me." She looked at me with tears. "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know he was married." "I know," I said softly. "He deceived us both." David lost composure. "Fine, I had an affair, but our marriage has been dead for years. We were just pretending. Our marriage was dead when I cooked your favorite dinner last week, when I planned your surprise birthday party." Amanda gathered her things. "I'm leaving. I don't want anything to do with this." She left without looking back. Then it was just David and me. 10 years, reduced to this horrible moment. "Now," I said, turning on my recorder, "let's talk about coincidences." David sat on the bed, hands over his face. Mr. Rodriguez remained near the door. "You lost the right to privacy when you turned our life into a public lie," I said. "Explain the coincidence. You booked our special place on our anniversary for another woman by chance?" "Our marriage died long ago," he said. "We just kept pretending." "Did our marriage die or did you kill it? I was fighting for us while you built a secret life. When did we last really talk? Make love because we wanted to. So you're blaming me for my betrayal." I started pacing. "Our marriage died because you chose to invest emotional energy in someone else instead of solving our problems." I threw bank statements at him. "What hurts most isn't the betrayal, it's the cowardice. Why didn't you tell me the truth instead of letting me live a lie?" "I didn't want to hurt you. You thought discovering this would be less painful than honest conversation? How long have you been having affairs?" Amanda was the first. "Lie." I showed more papers. Hotel receipts from 2 years ago. Women's names you deleted from social media. 3 years, he admitted. Maybe 4. 4 years. You were cheating when we renewed our vows, when we bought the house, when we tried for children. Tears came. You were cheating when I had the miscarriage, when I was devastated and needed you. You let me blame myself for our marriage problems, made me think I wasn't enough. Meanwhile, you were sabotaging us from the beginning. Do you love Amanda? He hesitated. Yes. Then why didn't you ask for divorce? It's complicated, the house, finances. Because it was easier keeping me as official wife while living your real life with her. I grabbed my bag. You're going home today and leaving. Not tonight, today. What about divorce? My lawyer will contact you Monday. Don't try convincing me this is my fault. You're a coward and liar, and I deserve better. Sarah, I'm really sorry. Me too.
Sorry I wasted 10 years with someone who didn't have the courage to truly love me. I left the cabin and walked to my car. For the first time in months, I breathed freely. Not relief, it hurt too much, but liberation. Truth had freed me from the prison of lies.
6 months later, I'm on my new porch watching sunrise over a garden I planted myself. Not the garden from our shared house. My garden. In my house, watered with tears of liberation. Divorce was finalized 3 weeks ago. Having organized evidence made it quick. David contested finances, but bank statements showing years of spending on other women spoke loudly. Amanda contacted me a month later to apologize and share her story. David had lied about everything, not just being single, but his work, ambitions, personality. She fell in love with fiction as I stayed married to fiction. We didn't become friends, but developed mutual respect. Two women deceived by the same man. She also ended things with him, realizing she could never trust someone capable of such elaborate lies. David tried convincing me to reconcile. He appeared at my door repeatedly with excuses, explanations, promises, even suggested couples therapy. Ironic, since he'd rejected that when our marriage could have been saved. But I'd learned something fundamental. Truth has power, and lies always crumble. Once you see someone for who they really are, you can't unsee it. Individual therapy helped me understand I wasn't responsible for David's choices, but I was responsible for mine going forward. I chose forgiveness, for me, not him. Carrying anger would only prolong his control over my life. I moved to a smaller apartment with mountain views, returned to studying, something I'd abandoned when married. I'm finishing graduate studies in psychology, focusing on therapy for women experiencing marital betrayal. I transformed pain into purpose. I made new friends who know me as Sarah, not David's wife. Rediscovered abandoned hobbies, traveled to dreamed destinations, read books from my endless list. Yes, I started dating again. Not immediately, took 4 months to feel ready. When I met Marcus at the university library, I knew he was different. Not perfect, but genuine. No masks, no different versions for different people. Our first date was simple, coffee and honest conversation about our lives. I told him about my divorce, he about his. No games, mysteries, hidden information. Revolutionary. I don't trust completely yet. Part of me stays alert, checks inconsistencies, but that's not paranoia, it's self-care. Protecting the heart I worked to heal. Some ask if I regret confronting David that way. My answer, truth deserves revelation under sunlight, not hidden in shadows of convenience. The resort confrontation wasn't revenge. It was refusing to allow more lies, giving Amanda informed choice, and recovering my dignity and voice. I learned coincidence is often just a word people use avoiding admitting deliberate choices. David knew exactly what he was doing. When people lie about coincidences, they're usually lying about much more. Mountain View Resort offered me a free stay after learning everything. Initially, I refused, too many painful memories. Then I realized if I let David steal that place too, he'd still control my life post-divorce. So I returned. Alone first, staying in cabin 12, creating new memories, reading on the porch, hiking alone, dining without loneliness. I reclaimed that space. Second visit, I brought Marcus, not replacing David memories, but creating something new. Showed him trails, the lake, where I found strength to face truth. He understood that place's importance in my healing. Today, passing by there, I don't think about David or betrayal. I think about the brave woman I became that day, the decision choosing difficult truth over comfortable lies. For those listening, perhaps experiencing something similar, your intuition is right. If something seems wrong, it probably is. If you're finding suspicious coincidences, they probably aren't coincidences. Don't ignore signs. Don't excuse inexplicable behavior. Don't accept coincidences as explanations for obvious inconsistencies. You deserve truth, even if it hurts. If you discover suspicions are correct, remember, betrayal reveals the betrayer's character, not your worth. It's not your fault if someone chose lies over communication, cheating over problem solving, hiding over honesty. Rebuilding after betrayal is possible, difficult, painful. You'll question your choices. But living in truth, even painful truth, beats living comfortable lies. My new life isn't perfect, but it's genuine. Mine. For the first time in years, when someone says, "I love you," I believe completely, having built a relationship on honesty from day one. Sun rises in my garden now, illuminating flowers I planted myself. Not the same flowers from my marriage. These are new, chosen by me, for me. They represent fresh starts, a life built on solid foundations of truth. David still tries contacting occasionally, messages missing our life, realizing his mistake, wanting chances to fix things. But that life never really existed. Just illusion he created and I helped maintain. I don't respond anymore, not from anger, but because nothing remains to be said. That chapter is closed. I'm writing a new story where I'm the protagonist of my own life, not supporting character in someone else's lie. When someone comes with suspicious coincidence stories, remember mine. Confront, question, demand truth. You deserve more than life built on lies, however comfortable. Truth can destroy the world you know, but frees you to build something much better. Sometimes showing the receipts is the most powerful thing we can do.
If this story shocked you, just wait for what's next. Leave a comment, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and of course, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a single notification.